Disney is popping the champagne. Their live-action Lilo and Stitch has just stormed past the $1 billion mark, a monumental victory for the studio in the year 2025. But what if I told you this celebration is a complete illusion? That while Hollywood was patting itself on the back, it had already been lapped, defeated, and utterly dwarfed by a cinematic juggernaut that most of the Western world has never even heard of. This isn't just a story about one movie beating another. This is the story of a silent coup at the global box office, a tectonic shift in power that signals the potential end of Hollywood's century-long reign as the undisputed king of cinema. Today, we peel back the curtain on the biggest entertainment story of the year that nobody is talking about. We're going to explore how a single Chinese animated film not only smashed the billion-dollar barrier first, but went on to earn over $2.2 billion, rewriting the record books in the process. We will break down the shocking numbers that reveal just how broken and unsustainable Hollywood's blockbuster formula has become. And we will uncover the harsh truth that Disney's billion-dollar success with Lilo and Stitch isn't a sign of strength, but a desperate gasp for air from a studio drowning in a sea of catastrophic failures. So buckle up, because the real king of the 2025 box office is about to be crowned, and it's not who you think. The story begins, as many do, with a celebration. The Walt Disney Company announces that its live-action reimagining of Lilo and Stitch has officially surpassed the coveted $1 billion milestone at the worldwide box office. For a studio that has been weathering a storm of financial disappointments, this is a massive win. It's the first Motion Picture Association release of 2025 to hit that magic number, a powerful statement that Disney can, on occasion, capture the hearts and wallets of global audiences. The headlines write themselves. Disney is back. Lilo and Stitch saves the summer. But this celebration, however well-deserved for the filmmakers, obscures a much larger, more significant truth. The little blue alien was not the first character to smash the billion-dollar barrier this year. He wasn't even close. That title belongs to a character from ancient Chinese mythology, the star of an animated sequel named Zha Two. And this film didn't just earn $1 billion. It has, as of this recording, stormed past the $2.2 billion mark. To put that in perspective, almost the entirety of that colossal sum comes from a single country, China. This isn't just a hit movie. It's a cultural and box office phenomenon that redefines what is possible in the world of cinema. To truly grasp this meteoric rise, you have to understand the story itself. Zha is not some new, manufactured character for the screen. He is a beloved, rebellious icon from 16th century Chinese literature. He's a powerful deity, born into a human family, an outcast feared by his own people, who ultimately rebels against his preordained fate and the rigid authority of the heavens. He is a potent symbol of individualism, of fighting against the system, of forging your own destiny, a theme that resonates deeply with modern audiences in China and, frankly, across the globe. The filmmakers tapped into this powerful cultural vein, blending ancient myth with breathtaking, modern animation, creating something that was both deeply familiar and thrillingly new. They weren't just selling a movie, they were revitalizing a national legend for a new generation. The foundation for this unbelievable success was laid back in 2019 with the first film, Zha. That movie stunned the industry by earning over $726 million worldwide, making it the second highest grossing non-English language film of all time. Its performance in its home country was even more historic. With a Chinese domestic gross of around $719 million, it annihilated the record for the highest grossing animated film in a single market, a title previously held by Pixar's Incredibles 2. Which had earned $608 million in North America. The stage was set for a sequel of epic proportions, and the filmmakers delivered in a way no one could have predicted. Released on January 29, 2025, to coincide with the immense box office potential of the Chinese New Year, Zha Two didn't just break records, it vaporized them. On its very first day, it set a new high for the biggest single-day gross for an animated film in China, raking in over 700 million yuan, which is approximately 96 million US dollars, in one day. It then became the fastest film in Chinese history to cross the 10 billion yuan threshold, which is about 1.38 billion US dollars, doing so in just 7 days. Let's pause and absorb that. In 1 week, Zha Two earned more money in China alone than Lilo and Stitch has earned globally in its entire run. The film's total gross in China now stands at a mind-boggling 15.44 billion yuan, which translates to roughly $2.13 billion. This number represents the highest box office gross for any film within a single country ever. It didn't just beat the previous record holder, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which earned a massive $936.6 million in North America, it more than doubled it. Zha Two earned over $1.19 billion more in its domestic market than the previous record holder did in its own. The global implications are just as staggering. With its total worldwide haul of $2.215 billion, Zha Two is currently the 5th highest-grossing film of all time. It has surpassed beloved, culture-defining blockbusters like Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which topped out at $2.07 billion, and Avengers: Infinity War, which earned $2.05 billion. The only films in history that have earned more are Titanic, Avatar: The Way of Water, Avengers: Endgame, and the all-time champion, the original Avatar. This makes Zha Two the only non-American and non-English language film in the all-time top 10, a lone warrior from a different cinematic tradition standing shoulder to shoulder with Hollywood's biggest titans. But even this comparison is slightly misleading. Because while those Hollywood titans, The Force Awakens, Infinity War, were global efforts, requiring massive marketing campaigns across dozens of countries to reach their totals, Zha Two achieved this status almost entirely from one single market. It's a display of single market power the world has never seen before, and it serves as a deafening wake-up call. The sleeping dragon of the Chinese box office isn't just awake, it's now a titan slayer. Within the animation genre, its dominance is absolute. It is the highest-grossing animated film in history by an almost comical margin. The film in second place is Disney's own 2019 photorealistic remake of The Lion King, which earned $1.663 billion worldwide. Zha Two has outgrossed the previous record holder by more than $550 million. That $550 million gap is larger than the entire global gross of many hugely successful animated blockbusters. But the most shocking part of this story isn't just the gross, it's the profit. And this is where we see the direct challenge to Hollywood's entire financial model. The key lesson from Zha Two lies in its astounding profitability. The film was produced with a reported budget of around $80 million, an $80 million investment that yielded a $2.215 billion return. That represents an astronomical 27-to-1 return on investment. For every dollar spent, it made 27 back. The math is brutal, and it tells a story Hollywood doesn't want you to hear. If you're finding this breakdown as mind-blowing as I am, do us a favor and hit that like button to let us know. Now, for comparison, let's look at one of the most successful films in history, Avengers: Endgame. It had a colossal production budget of around $356 million, and that's before marketing costs. Its worldwide gross was $2.79 billion. That's a multiplier of less than 8. A fantastic return, but it's not even in the same universe as Zha Two's profitability, and Endgame is the best-case scenario. The problem is that Hollywood's entire machine is built on this model of diminishing returns. The budgets are not just production costs, they are behemoths that include 9-figure marketing campaigns essential to make a global impact. A film with a $250 million production budget might spend another $150 to $200 million on global advertising. When you factor in that cinemas take around half of the ticket sales, the break-even point for these films balloons to an astronomical figure, often 3 times the production budget. That $250 million film needs to make $750 million just to not lose money. It is a high-wire act with no safety net, and we are seeing more and more films plummet. Even if Zha Two had stopped at $500 million, it would have been considered wildly profitable. For a modern Hollywood tentpole, that same figure could represent a major financial loss. This brings us back to Disney and the illusion of Lilo and Stitch's victory. That $1 billion success is a crucial lifeline for the Walt Disney Company because it's helping to paper over the cracks of a crumbling empire. 2025 has been a bloodbath for the studio. Marvel Studios saw 2 of its major releases falter spectacularly. Captain America: Brave New World limped to a $415.1 million box office, while Thunderbolts did even worse, with just $381.9 million. Neither came close to recouping their massive costs. Then there was the live-action reimagining of Snow White, which became a significant box office catastrophe, earning only $205 million globally, against a massive production budget reported to be between $240 and $270 million. To top it all off, the company's legendary animation arm also suffered a major blow, as Pixar's original film Elio grossed a meager $120 million worldwide on a $150 million budget, making it an undeniable flop. Let's be specific about why these films failed, because it's a symptom of a deeper rot. Snow White was mired in controversy long before release, with creative choices that seemed designed to antagonize the very audience that cherished the original. Captain America: Brave New World and Thunderbolts landed in a marketplace saturated with superhero content, much of it from Disney's own streaming service, leaving audiences feeling fatigued and uninterested in what felt like more of the same, but with less of the quality and heart of the Infinity Saga. And Pixar's Elio became another example of an original idea that failed to connect, a devastating blow for a studio whose entire brand was once built on universally beloved, emotionally resonant original stories. The magic, it seems, is fading. These collective failures underscore just how fragile and dangerous Disney's high-budget blockbuster strategy has become. In this context, the billion-dollar run of Lilo and Stitch isn't a triumphant parade, it's an essential rescue mission, a single success story holding back a tidal wave of red ink. So what is the fundamental lesson here? Zha Two's domestic triumph highlights a critical shift in the international landscape. For decades, Hollywood viewed China as a reliable market that could push its biggest films into the billion-dollar club. That era is over. China's box office has increasingly, and now overwhelmingly, favored its own homegrown productions. The astronomical success of films like Zha Two proves that the Chinese audience is not suffering from so-called theater-going fatigue. They are more enthusiastic than ever to see stories that are culturally resonant, stories that reflect their own heritage, mythology, and values. For Hollywood, this means the old, lazy strategy of simply securing a Chinese release date and maybe inserting a minor Chinese actor is utterly insufficient. To reclaim a significant share of that market and to achieve the record-breaking global grosses of the pre-pandemic era, studios must fundamentally rethink their entire approach. This isn't just about movies, it's about a global cultural shift happening right before our eyes. If you want to stay ahead of these trends and understand what's really happening in the world of entertainment, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next deep dive. The path to sustainable success for Hollywood is not to make bigger, more expensive films. It requires a more diversified and financially disciplined strategy. As the Chinese market continues to prove it can generate world-beating numbers all on its own, the old assumption that American blockbusters will automatically dominate the globe is no longer valid. By controlling their sky-high budgets and investing in stories capable of forging genuine, authentic connections with international audiences, Hollywood can perhaps avoid the multi-million-dollar failures it has been collecting over these past few years. the game has changed. The board is different, and a new king has been crowned. And for those curious to see what all the fuss is about, the English-language dub of Zha Two is scheduled to be released in United States theaters on August 22nd, finally giving Western audiences a chance to witness the cinematic titan that conquered the world.